So I'm thankful that you had that shift and that you also had the discipline and the mental toughness to do that as well. Um, I I know that you had to have some rewards and some punishments set up along the way for you keeping this up day after day. You want to share some of how you kept yourself going on the days when it was hard and you were tired and it was raining and you had to walk around the city, or how do you how do you break through and keep going when it gets hard?
Well, I have my Navy SEAL coach TC Cummings. When I was training for the USA Memory Championship in 2008 and 2009, I learned some lessons from him on that I used in the Afghanistan war. And two of the lessons were actually when I was training for the 2010 USA Memory Championship. TC, I texted TC and I said, TC, I'm not going to be training today. I'm sick. I got like a 100-degree fever. I'm not going to be training. He said, if you're sick and you're not feeling well on the day of the tournament, are you going to compete? I said, no, I would compete. I've been training all this time. As long as I'm not contagious, I could compete. He said, oh, well, then this is a wonderful opportunity for you to see how you perform when you're not feeling your best. I'm like, you jerk. So I
He
trained.
was right, for sure.
I trained all day that day, sick. As fate would have it, the 2010 USA Memory Championship arrived. When you are the new guy and you're not the champion, nobody knows who you are, you can go in relaxed. When you're the champion, there's a target on your back, right? Everybody was going after me, because anybody who's defending their title, that's, I'm not saying going after me, but there's a target on your back, right? So I couldn't sleep. I had insomnia. I had to be at the USA Memory Championship by 7:45. I fell asleep at about 6:45 a.m. and I slept till 7:15. I had 30 minutes sleep. I ended up winning that day, exhausted, but I had trained for that, right?
Yeah.
I had, and TC said when I was training, when I was not feeling good, TC said, Ron, you're a professional. What do professionals do? They train when they're not feeling good. They do it anyway. And he was a SEAL. I mean, SEALs can't say, I'm not going to go on that mission today. I got a little headache. So that was the first thing. And I just remembered that lesson when I wasn't feeling my best on the Afghanistan wall. As far as facing consequences, one day I told TC, I said, this was when I was training for the USA Championship. I said, TC, man, I wasn't training by 8:30 a.m. as we all agree that I need to be. So I just want to tell you that. He said, well, it's not a punishment, but it is a consequence. You have to face a consequence. If you don't face a consequence, you're going to be doubting yourself in the tournament. Who am I to win the USA Memory Championship? I can't even get up at 8:30 a.m. He said, face a consequence, wipe the mental slate clean, and then you can go in there with the confidence that you hold yourself accountable. And I said, what do I do? He said, that's up to you. He said, I hate cold water. That's what I would always involve cold water. And I said, you know what? I hate cold water too. It was 33, 34 degrees outside. I went outside. I jumped in the apartment swimming pool. I swam across it when it was 34 degrees. Now these days, ice baths are cool, but back then it wasn't. I swam across it, and I swam to the other side and I jumped out. 33 degrees. That water was in the 30s. I mean, it was cold. Wow. And, that I just faced the consequence. So those were the two lessons that I carried into the Afghanistan wall. I will say this: when I wrote out that wall that day, a TV reporter or a newspaper reporter said, "This is a tremendous display of discipline." And I said, man, you're the first person to notice that. I said, this is not a display of memory. Everybody thinks, they look at it, they see 7,500 words and like, this is a display of memory. You just memorized five words. But it doesn't get any more difficult with 7,500 words. You just have to keep duplicating the process, right? That's discipline. That's not memory. So I said, man, you're so right. This is a display of discipline. The memory part is easy. But that's it.
That's amazing. My question is now, how did you pivot from doing this to then developing a company who empowers others? I want to hear how that came about. And then we want to hear about what you do with your company and how you help other people.
Well, I appreciate that question. So actually, I started my company in 1991. This happened 20 years later. I never competed in memory seminars. I never did the Afghanistan wall. No large scale memory projects until I had been in business 18 years. And the way that all came about was, I've been teaching memory seminars and selling courses online and that stuff since the 90s. Believe it or not, I was selling my cassettes through Zig Ziglar's newsletter.
I believe it. I'm there too, man. So I was doing that, so for my niche. So cassettes, CDs, all that good stuff. So
in the 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Not as early as you, but definitely.
So in the early 2000s, I was standing at the back of the room getting ready to be introduced. I've been teaching memory seminars for a decade, and the person introducing me said, "This is Ron White, one of the world's leading experts on memory." And it just hit me. I'm like, what? What have I done? What? Now, here's the thing. I had put that line in my bio. It wasn't his fault for saying it. It was my fault. But when I heard him say it, I'm like, I have done absolutely nothing to earn that. I need to either take that out of my bio or become one of the world's leading memory experts. And I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, I got to go win this memory championship. And then I looked at the records. They were memorizing a deck of cards in 2 minutes or whatever it was at the time. I'm like, that's insane. I'll never do that. Well, I did. I set the record. I broke that record, and a minute 27 is what I did. But it was an internal thing of I didn't pivot from my business to or memory championships to my business, the other way around. But I did it because I no longer wanted to be a memory training salesman. I wanted to be a true memory expert. And I just fell in love with memory after that. Believe it or not, I was kind of in love with it the first decade, but I really wasn't. The last 2 decades, I've been in love with it.